What's going on, YouTube? It's James with Shire Fantasy Battle Report. Got another battle report for you today. Is the ETC 2019 Novi Serbia. Guys, what is going on? I'm excited to get you this last battle report. I'm actually kind of depressed to get you this last battle report because it's the last one of ETC. I feel like all these 14 games were really good. It was good for my mentality in the game. I actually feel like, and I know I've actually heard a lot of feedback for the last several games that people are like, I'm really enjoying these battle reports. You're giving really good insight, and you just sound a lot more like you're having fun and more passionate about the game. And it's true. That's how I feel, you know. And I'm basically the most honest person you're ever going to meet, where I just kind of say what I say, and that's what it is. So we're going against Belgium. We just fought Ukraine. We just fought Argentina. We had a pretty big win, almost capped them, and we're flying up to place Belgium. Now Belgium is a top 10 team. Last year they finished like top 5. This year they actually finish in 9th place. It doesn't matter how this game goes, they finish in 9th place, okay? So they're a top 10 fucking team, okay? And we're playing them, and right off the bat, I'm like, alright, let me look at the matrix. And when I look at the matrix, half my team didn't fill out their fucking matrix, and they're all like scrambling right now, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, what the fuck, guys? It's Belgium. It's in alphabetical order. B is not that far. They're like the 4th list. And I had everybody giving me every excuse in the book why they didn't fill out the fucking matrix. But as they're like scrambling, looking at the list, trying to figure out who they could fight, who they can't fight, Charlie comes up to me and he goes, James, we have a big problem. I go, what's that? He goes, their Dread Elf player is killing everybody, and he has a really, really good list. And I said, all right. I said, I fought Pascal before. I could probably handle Pascal, but Pascal, and for those of you who don't know him, I've had a couple questions about this in the last battle report, which is Pascal Smith family? He is Smith family, by the way. If you guys play Universal Battle and are familiar with this list that he has, that's Smith family. But so I said, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I would love to fight Pascal. First off, as just as getting a game against him in real life, because I fought him probably like half a dozen times or so on Universal Battle. It's always a fun game, always a fun game. But second off, I'm not scared of his list. I'm looking at my other guys, and my other guys are like, oh, his list is really fucking tough as balls. And he's at 80 points. He's at 80 fucking points coming into this game. And I'm like, you know what? I'm really not scared of him. I would rather fight him, right? Now, in this picture, really quick, all right? The guy sitting down on the left with all the tattoos, that's Nico Hermans. And I have to say this. I have to say this. I went back maybe a couple months or so looking at all my battle reports, going back to the first ones to see how horrible I sound. The audio quality is shit. I'm like stumbling over my words. I mean, I still stumble over my words, but I'm just like less confident on the mic. And guys, there's a fucking shy ambulance. And I'm listening to how bad my battle report is, and I'm like, I wonder if anybody even watched this, like, that still plays now. And it's an 8th edition game, End Times. I think it was pre-End Times. It was like right before End Times. But and I looked at my comments, and the first comment I ever got on any of my videos is from that guy sitting in the chair right there with all those tattoos, Nico's Herman. Anyways, let's go over the matchup process. This is an interesting matchup process, and we're going to get to it. So first things first. The number 1 player they have on their team is their Dread Elf player, right? And I'm taunting him. I was like, come on, Pascal, I'll fight you. And he goes, all right. And he puts the card down, and it's Pascal. It's the Dread Elf player, the first fucking card. And I was like, all right. It looks like I threw out Euron first. For whatever fucking reason, I threw out Euron. I think Euron just had a decent lineup. He had one bad match. Everything was yellow or green. So I was kind of like, okay, we'll just give him. Put him out, because the only thing he doesn't have to fight is the one thing he doesn't have to fight. So we ended up giving Euron to their Undying Dynasty player, and part of the reasoning for that was because Euron had it as a yellow match. He said he would get potentially a 10 or 11 out of it, and it's a red match for most of our other players. So I'm like, let's just give the Undying Dynasties to Euron. We get that out of the way, and then everybody else has better chances of matches, right? Well, they threw down their Dread Elf player, and I'm just taunting Pascal. I'm taunting Smith family. I'm like, come on, you know you want me, you know. And he goes, I hope you guys do what I think you're gonna do. I hope you guys do what I think you're gonna do. And I was like, go for it. So it didn't even matter who the other card was. It was me and somebody else, and he just kind of laughed, and he's like, all right, James, let's go. And I was like, yes, let's do this. But that took off another red match for the rest of my team, which is fine for me, because that's basically what a good captain does. All right, takes out the best match for everybody. All right, so we ended up throwing down Pablo next for Sylvan Elves. Again, Pablo has a matrix that's very yellow, or actually, it looks like he changed it towards the end. He has a couple more greens and reds, so we probably didn't throw out Pablo. I think we might have threw out who is that? Is that Charlie? I think that's Charlie. Yeah, we threw out Charlie. He only had one red match at that point. And we ended up giving him to... What is that? Lizards? We gave Charlie to their Orcs and Goblins player, Cedric. That's right? Yeah, Cedric. Alright. They threw out... It looks like... It doesn't even say what army that is. It looks like their demon player. We ended up giving that to Pablo to see how he does with that. We ended up throwing out Neil next. Neil ended up getting another Vermin Swarm player. I think that's like the third Vermin Swarm player that Neil ended up fighting this tournament. But it ended up giving us... it was like Vermin Swarm, and then we kept Titty in the hand, and the other option was Ogre Khans. So we ended up picking Ogre Khans for Titty, and Beast Herds for Neil, and then they ended up picking our Ogre Khans for their Infernal Dwarf, and our Infernal Dwarf for their High Elf player, or Sylvan Elf player, whatever elf that is. The elf player, Thomas. Alright, anyways, so I'm playing Pascal. This is gonna be fucking awesome. This is gonna be great. Anyways, alright, so basically this is a quick overview of our game. I took a picture of it, the before and afters. This is like turn 1 or 2, you know, just trying to set it up. This is our game on Universal Battle, obviously not our game that we're about to play right now. As you can see, he has the 3 Krakens. On the left side, he has the 2 Dark Acolyte units, and then he has these 2 Medusas that are on each side of the hill. He has these units of Blades of Nob, which are just basically Witch Elves, a unit of Corsairs. He has his Pegasus Lord and his Manticore BSB. This was the aftermath of like turn 3? I think this is actually like turn 2 or 3. And what ended up happening was I killed his Krakens, and it caused a massive panic. And I mean a fucking massive panic, and all his shit's running away. And I got really fucking lucky. The only thing that didn't run away were obviously like Corsair or Witch Elves. And basically I won huge. We talked about it, and this is the reason why I took this match confidently, was because I was like, you know what? I'm not too worried about it. His shit does panic. His shit can fail rallies, stuff like that, right? And I got really lucky because he failed a bunch of rallies, alright? So I was like, fuck it. Now, to be honest, I don't remember much of this game. I remember that part where he failed the rallies, and I was like, that's not going to happen in a real-life scenario. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, for Magic, I took Pyromancy, of course, right? I have Scorching Salvo, Cascading Fire, Pyroclastic Flow, Flaming Swords, and Bring the Pain. And then he ends up having... he has about 6 spells. He doesn't have a dedicated caster, but he has these Acolytes running around. Then he has the 2 Medusas running around, and that gives him a bunch of spells. So he has Breath of Corruption, Grave Calls, Crippling Fatigue. I forgot what the card was, but we just put my Cactus card down because he didn't have a card for it. So, excuse me. Cactuar, I should say. 1,000 Needles. Anyways, so this is how we deploy. He picks. I pick sides. He deployed everything. Now I gave him the side with. Since I picked sides, I gave him the side with the impassable terrain and the building on the right side, which creates a funnel. Okay, if he's gonna dedicate anything to that side of the funnel, he is whatchamacallit? He has to like kind of like go through that like little tiny section, that chokehold point, and that'll allow me to maneuver around it. Now we're playing Secure Target. Now Secure Target, You have to be within 6 inches of the those Buckeye Battle tokens. Now, the token in the middle is my token. The token closest to the rock, right? And I put it in a spot where he can't be 6 inches around the rock and touching and getting the objective. The objective has to be more or less my side. So I'm controlling that objective like that on that side. He ends up putting his exactly 24 inches to the left of mine, which isn't a horrible spot, but he ends up deploying everything and going for first turn. I tried to counter deploy, but it's a really hard one to counter deploy. I put my Black Orcs on the left side, which thinking back to it, I don't know why I put my Black Orcs on the left side. I was kind of thinking that I could have held that objective on the left side with the Black Orcs. But my right side, the far right side, I have Koopa and Baxter on the right side going to do pyromancy and try to maneuver around the rock, through the rock, and just work from right to left, okay? And then I put the squad right by them so I could do like a bubble flaming sword, whatever. I end up putting the squigs right there. Squig's going to run forward. Savage is going to run forward. K-Pack's on the hill. Got to the 2 bolt throwers. We'll see how that goes, right? Now, as you can see, this is his list right here, which I think I already... No, I didn't explain. I'll just show you the list right here. Alright, you can pause it, look at it, whatever. But anyways, here's the pictures. He has a unit of Corsairs on the left with his Pegasus Lord in the unit, right? He has these 2 units of Dark Acolytes, Dark Raiders, Dark Raiders. He has another unit of Witch Elves. He has this Kraken right here. He has the Dark Acolytes here, the Medusa with the Halberd, the Kraken, and then another Kraken, more Witch Elves. The Giant Dragon is his Manticore Lord, BSB. He has another Medusa, another Dark Acolyte. So basically he has 2 Dark Acolytes, 2 Dark Raiders, and that's his Vanguard right there. Boot, just moving on up, right? Now, right off the bat, I felt like he was extremely aggressive, and he knew it. He knew it. And by the way, I'm going to talk to you about why Pascal wanted to play me after this game, okay? Besides it being just a fun game. But, so he comes at me extremely aggressive. It's going to be his turn. Dark Elves turn 1. Dread Elves turn 1. He goes ahead and he chaffs me right away. He puts all his Dark Raiders in front of all my shit. Nothing could charge around him, and he moves up extremely aggressively with all the Krakens, the Hydra, or the Manticore, and his Pegasus Lord. His Witch Elves move up, his Corsairs move up, everybody moves up. His Corsairs on the left vanguarded and moved up to threaten my dogs. Now, turn 1 magic, he ends up getting a 6 on the flux, goes ahead and he gives his Kraken a breath of corruption, but basically I had to stop the grave calls before he starts doing wounds onto my spider. That's what I'm more afraid of. So he gets the breath of corruption. I'm like, okay, he's going to kill some squigs. That's what he does. He ends up killing off 3 squigs. Not the biggest deal. I don't really care, to be honest. And that's about it for his first turn. We're going to go to turn 1, Orcs and Goblins. Orcs and Goblins turn 1. I thought about this long and hard. I am not shitting you. These first 2 turns are extremely important to what happens in this game, right? So I charge with the squigs because, again, the squigs are disposable. I don't care if the squigs die, if they're thrown out in front, right? I would charge with my Black Orcs into his Dark Raiders there because what I was hoping to do was chaff him with my Wolves on his Kraken, Pegasus, and all that. I measured it. I was like, I should be able to make a march check with my general right there and just walk in front of his Krakens and hold him on that side, right? So that's what I was planning on doing. Well, magic! I got an 8 on the flux, or I'm sorry, I got an 8 on the flux, but we'll go back to this picture here. Go ahead and I do those 2 charges. I pass my frenzy check on the savages. I move the savages and the K-Pack back a little bit, just a little bit, because I don't want to get charged yet by any of his Krakens. I haven't started weakening up his army with pyromancy, so I don't want to just fight him at full force, right? I fail the march check with the wolves, which just kills me. It kills me that I failed the march check with the fucking dogs. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Now we're gonna go into magic. Magic, I get an 8 on the flux. Go ahead and I do a Scorching Salvo. This Scorching Salvo pretty much decides the game. I fucking kill his Medusa right in the middle. I do kill a couple Witch Elves. I do kill up one of his Dark Acolytes. I do a wound onto his other Medusa. But his loss of his Medusa caused him to lose one of his witchcraft spells and caused him to lose another piece of chaff, which is going to be crucial later. Over here, the K-Pack's going to start shooting into his Witch Elves, kills off one Witch Elf. Over here, Bazooka's Commandos, or I'm sorry, the BGKs. The BGKs are going to go ahead and shoot into his Witch Elves over here. My thought process here, as you can see, his Kraken took a wound too, probably from the Scorching Salvo. But my thought process here on killing the Witch Elves was, if I kill the Witch Elves on this side, I don't have to worry about him scoring the objective. The other Witch Elves are on the other side, and the Corsairs are on the other side, so I don't really have any... He doesn't have many scoring units to grab the objective, so if I just start focusing on fire on these Witch Elves, I don't have to worry about the objective, right? Anyways, that's how it looks. My Squigs ended up overrunning just a bit, or I think I just reformed it. I just reformed that far up, right? But it puts him in a bad spot, and like I said, my dogs are actually on the left side trying to hold his Corsairs for a bit, and I could shoot a little longer with my Chukka. Right, Black Orcs reform like so, and just basically that's how I ended up doing it. And it's gonna go ahead and start off his turn. Dread Elves turn 2. Dread Elves turn 2. He goes all in. I mean, he goes all in. He charges the Kraken, the other Kraken, the Witch Elves, all into the Squigs. He tried to charge his Manticore Lord, but his Manticore Lord technically doesn't have line of sight because there's a large monster in front of him. He charges his Corsairs on the left, and I think the other guys on the left don't charge shit. But he ends up getting in with both his Krakens into the Squigs. Alright. The Witch Elves don't mind the fact that he pulled the bodies off. I think it was just so we could see where line of sight was and shit. Anyways, Magic, he gets the 8 on the Flux. Alright. And what he ends up doing is he ends up doing a Crippling Fatigue onto the K-Pack. Okay, that goes through. I don't really care. I stopped the Breath of Corruption. I think I stopped the Breath of Corruption. But there's not much else that he does. I think I kind of Binding Scrolled at this point. I want to say I Binding Scrolled at this point. Alright, close combat. Squigs end up swinging first. Squigs do 3 wounds onto this Kraken. They end up doing, I think, 1 wound to the other Kraken. Okay? Now, he goes and attacks, and he does, and here's the final picture here. He ends up, well, I'm not going to show you the final picture. He ends up killing a bunch. He ends up thunderstomping a bunch. He ends up winning combat big, and my Squigs are just outside my leadership bubble. They blow up. So here's the picture. Boom! They blow up. They took out 1 Savage Orc. I want to say like 1 or 2 Common Goblins, but they end up doing another wound onto his Kraken and another wound onto the other Kraken. That is awesome. That is awesome. Now he's going to overrun, and I don't have a picture of the overrun. The overrun is the deciding factor of this game. The other deciding factor, besides that Scorching Salvo. He overruns with both, with Swift Stride towards the Goblins, because what ends up happening is, if he gets into my Goblins, he'll do that combat on my turn, and then he'll reform on my turn, and then on his turn, he'll have flank charges and everything going his way. He overruns with both. He needs an 8 to get in with both into the Goblins. He rolls a 6 on both. And they just fall short. And he looks at me and he goes, James, this is going to be a quick game. I was like, yes, it is. I'm sorry, man. It wasn't a quick game, though. It wasn't. It's going to be turn 2, Orcs and Goblins. Orcs and Goblins turn 2. I go, time out, time out. Where's Lucas? Lucas, help, man. I'm in trouble. He's like, what's going on? I was like, shit. So, first things first, we'll go over what we ended up doing here. I ended up charging my Black Orcs here into the Kraken. Me and Lucas talked about it. Lucas said, basically, I charge it. I do whatever wounds I do with the Black Orcs, right? If he only has a couple wounds left, then I make way with my General on the following turn of combat. And then my General swing first and kills this guy, right? So, that's what I was planning. The other option was to charge him with the K-Pack, okay? The problem with the K-Pack is I would only be able to fit 1 K-Pack member in at this time. Okay. 2, I'm sorry, 2 would hit. So I charged him with the Black Orcs. Okay, we're going to go with that. The other issue was on the right side. Let me see if I can find a picture here. On the right side, this is not the right picture, but this will give you an idea. He chaffed my Spider, right? He chaffed Koopa. I could charge Koopa in, I could cause a terror, maybe, but he does have his General and his BSB right there, so it's maybe not a proper terror. But my bigger problem is his Acolytes behind Koopa, because they have the good spells, they have their damage-dealing magic missiles, and they will be able to hunt down my commandos, the BGKs. So the BGKs, what I end up doing is I end up using my triple march banner, my relentless banner, and moving the fuck away from everything going on. And what I'm trying to do is just focus on killing his acolytes and his Kraken that are both alive right now. One Kraken only has 1 wound left. The other Kraken still has 3 wounds left, okay? So that's what Lucas wanted me to focus on. Lucas wanted me to focus on killing the Krakens. He didn't really care about the Acolytes so much, but the Acolytes to me bothered me. I don't like the Acolytes. They always kind of bother me. I was telling him maybe I should shoot into his Witch Elves. He goes, ignore the Witch Elves right now. You don't need the objective till turn 6. That's what Lucas said. I said, okay, fine. Time in, alright? So, we're going to go back to this picture. I charge into the Kraken here. I move these guys back like I said I would. Alright, magic. I get a 4 on the flux. Go ahead and I do a Scorching Salvo. Scorching Salvo kills the first Kraken. Doesn't cause a panic to anybody else, though. I end up killing off maybe like 3 of his Dark Acolytes, though, which was pretty clutch. Or 2 of his Dark Acolytes, I want to say. Go ahead and I do a Flaming Sword onto my Goblins, about to shoot his freaking Kraken right in front of them. And then over here, I moved Koopa this way. And Koopa's like, fucking Dragon Staff, and I fucking killed that bitch. Fuck that fucking Acolyte. Fuck him up his stupid ass. Killed the unit of Acolytes. That's great. Now I'm just collecting points. Over here shooting, I shoot everything into him that I possibly can. I only do 1 wound that goes through. Over here I shoot with the Commandos, and I end up doing another wound. So now this Kraken only has 1 wound remaining, and that's how it looks. Over here, the Bolt Thrower, boom, right into his freaking BSB. Now, for the record, he was curious on why I didn't charge the BSB right here, because the Savage Orcs can charge him right here. I said just this simple. I wanted to shoot him before I get into a fight. K-Pack ends up shooting into some of the Witch Elves, kills off a couple of the Witch Elves. And then over here, close combat. My Black Orcs only do 2 wounds. He does like 6, right? So he wins combat, alright? And then what ends up happening is I reform and I slide my guys over this way to avoid his Witch Elves on the right side, but also so my general could go in and try to kill his Kraken. He was so... Lucas was so pissed at me for doing this. He's still pissed at me for doing this. He goes, why would you do that? And I said, because he only has like 3 wounds left. My general should be able to do 3. I'm hitting him on 3s, even though technically... No, I'm hitting him on 4s. I'm hitting him on 4s, but wounding him on like 2s. Okay? So I should be able to do it, right? With 5 attacks. Well, what is that? I don't know what killed the Corsair. Something killed the Corsair. Oh, I know. So the Corsairs were fighting... Yeah, I see what happened. Let me see. I want to say the Corsairs charged into my Spear Chukka, so I did that combat first. My Spear Chukka ended up doing 1 wound to them, but and then he just reformed this way. But what I was trying to do is make them fight the Chukka first, kill the Kraken, and then hope they panic. But since the Kraken never died, they don't have to worry about panicking, and it's going to start off his turn. Dread Elves turn 3. Dread Elves turn 3. He's going to charge his Witch Elves into my flank, and I'm like, son of a bitch, and he actually makes it. The other thing I was wondering was I should have probably just left my general on the other side of the Kraken instead of this side where he was going to get hit by Witch Elves, but it really doesn't matter. His Witch Elves flub. Over here, he charges into my Goblins, and my Goblins actually pass their panic check. Can't really do a standard shoot, it's too close. I'm hoping I could just poke that last wound off. Now his General, his BSB, and his Witch Elves are all charging into the Savage Orcs, which this is going to be just nasty as fuck. His Witch Elves don't make it, though. His General and his BSB do make it, which basically means he has to maximize how many people are fighting. Over here, his Witch Elves do make it here, and his Acolytes just moved here just to be assholes. I don't know why he moved them here. I think just to put them in a safe spot so I don't get shot or charged. Yeah, everything's in. Magic! He gets a 4 on the flux, goes ahead, and I think he just did like Ice and Fire onto... I think that's what the card was. Ice and Fire onto the Chariots, does a wound. Over here he does Crippling Fatigue onto my Black Orcs. I try to stop it with 5 dice, but it still goes off. Like, seriously, I try to stop this spell every turn, because he doesn't have many spells. Like, pretty much all his spells are pretty much getting null and void, and he still gets the spell off. I'm like, what the fuck? Alright, close combat. In this fight, he goes ahead, and my general swings, and my general whiffs, and I mean I whiff hard. I rolled like 1-5, and he goes back. He goes with his Witch Elves first, hits my general. He does like 3 wounds onto my general. My general ward saves all those. Well, he does 2 wounds with his Kraken onto my general, and I roll both the dice, hoping that I make 1, and I don't make a single fucking save. He multiplies it, and he does exactly 3 fucking wounds and kills my fucking general. Lucas is like, come on, James, what the fuck, man? Why would you put your general in that situation? I was like, I thought I would win. Jesus Christ. Well, my Black Orcs go back. I am not shitting you. My Black Orcs go back, and they beat the shit out of the Kraken, kill the Kraken, and I kill a bunch of his Witch Elves. And he actually has like a charge, a flank, a big flank, 3 wounds onto my general, but he didn't do much else. My Black Orcs fuck up his Witch Elves, kill the Kraken. I did more wounds. I actually think I win combat, and we stick there. So I just turn my Black Orcs around to face his Witch Elves, which you don't see in this picture right now. And that's probably why he moves his Acolytes so close, so when I reform, I can't reform like too wide or whatever, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not entirely sure yet. Over here, close combat. Woo! He fucks up my Savages. He kills, it looks like a good 10 Savages, but my Savages kill his BSB. His BSB only had 2 wounds left, remember. So my Savages end up killing his BSB. My Savages end up doing, I want to say, 1 wound to his Pegasus Lord. Now, he does win combat. I am steadfast, but I fail the fucking steadfast roll. My Savages run, and they run off the fucking table, and his Pegasus Lord follows. Son of a fucking bitch. All of a sudden, the table's becoming really fucking empty. Really fucking fast. Jesus Christ. Over here, he kills my Goblins. My Goblins did not do a damn wound to this guy, and he overruns towards my Spirit Chukka, and he's going to get in, and it's going to start off my turn. Orcs and Goblins turn 3. Orcs and Goblins turn 3. As you can see, Koopa's just moving up now. Koopa's just like, duk, 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 duk. I got to get rid of these Witch Elves. I move my Commandos far enough back where I'm going to try to do like Cascading Fire to kill his Kraken. But there's not much else I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is just focus fire on killing those Witch Elves on the right, on the top part, right by the scenario. Okay, so magic, nothing really happens. I go ahead and I kill the unit of Witch Elves. I think I did that with magic and shooting, to be honest. I put up flaming swords here on these guys, just in case this Kraken does come for me. I'm going to shoot the crap out of him. This Kraken kills the frickin' Spirit Chukka, and he's going to go ahead and he's just going to use it as chaff, actually, because he knows if he charges, I'm just doing a stand and shoot with 40 tomahawks, trying to kill this bitch. That's what I'm going to do. He knows it. He only has 1 wound left, and he's like, ugh. Alright. Over here, close combat. As you can see, the Witch Elves ended up killing off 4 Black Orcs, but I end up killing off the Witch Elves. Does not panic the Acolytes behind me. What I do make a mistake here, this is the biggest boneheaded mistake of the whole fucking tournament. This is the biggest boneheaded mistake of the whole fucking tournament. I win combat. My team's watching now. Half the games are done already. Most of the games are done, actually. And everybody comes to our table, and they're watching my game, and they're like, what's going on here? And they see me do this, and I turn my Black Orcs. Now, again, it's secure target, right? Let me get a picture of the target. Where do I have a picture of the target? I don't think I have a picture of the target on the left side. The target's like buried in a pile of junk, though. I want to find a good picture of the junk. Ugh. Anyways, this is a picture from long, long ago, okay, when everything's still alive. I'm grabbing all my dead bodies. My Savage Orcs, my Goblins, my Raiders, my Spirit Chukka, everything goes on the left side. But you see where the target is up on that hill, or up in that field. Excuse me. It's up in that field. Alright, so I put my Black Orcs facing the field. Like, you see how far that field is right now, but you see how there's dead bodies on that field. But I face his Acolytes like, haha, you're gonna run away from me because you're Acolytes, right? Well, okay, your turn. Turn 4, Dread Elves. He's like, my Corsairs are gonna charge your flank, and I was like, shit, they're alive? I totally forgot about his Corsairs. I thought, I'm looking at it, I am dead fucking serious. My girlfriend's sitting right there watching like, I can't believe you didn't see those Corsairs. I'm like, I thought they were dead pile. I thought this whole side, besides the Acolytes, was dead pile. I totally forgot the Corsairs were there. They were just blended in with the crowd. And I was like, son of a bitch! Oh my god, it was so dumb, but at the same time, it's just like, wow, that just happened. Son of a bitch. I'm thinking, man, I got this. But then I do shit like that. Oh my god. His acolytes run away, of course, like they do. And as you can see, there's more dead bodies right there. And his Peg Lord comes this way. Now, with my Pyromancy, I ended up doing 1 extra wound onto his Peg Lord. So his Peg Lord only has like 1 wound remaining. Magic, he gets a 5 on the Flux. I think he tries to do Crippling Fatigue. I stop it this time. And then there's nothing really to Ice and Fire. So over here, close combat, he's going to go ahead and swing. And he doesn't do a single... I think he does 3 wounds to me. He does 3 wounds to me. Okay? My Black Orcs go back... And I do like 2 or 3 wounds back, but this motherfucker rolled 6s on all his armor saves. So I'm like, son of a bitch, I lost combat. Son of a bitch. He has a charge, a flank, a big flank, and 3 wounds. I lose combat. I'm like, fuck. So I'm like doing the math, and I'm like, oh, I think I need like a 3 or something like that. I forgot what it was. And I roll the dice, and I don't get it. I get like a 7 or I get like a 6, to be honest, a 6. And I'm like, fuck, I guess I run. And like, as I say it out loud, as I'm like, son of a bitch, I just lost this combat, I guess I run. My team's watching the game, and they all, like, they shouldn't have done this. I agree 100% they shouldn't have done this, but they were all like, you're steadfast! In all fairness, this is the 6th game. I just played 14 games. I just made the boneheaded mistake of fucking giving up my flank. And they just scream, you're steadfast! I'm like, oh yeah, I'm steadfast. And I could tell it pissed Pascal off. I really hope it didn't piss Pascal off. But it's the truth. I was steadfast. But at the same time, it was just like... oh my god. But they all said it like simultaneously. Like they were all like, idiot, you're steadfast. Alright, going to turn 4, Orcs and Goblins. I think I do reform, by the way. Or no, I think I failed the reform. I passed the steadfast roll. Alright, so turn 4, Orcs and Goblins. I just moved the Goblins around this guy here. I'm just going to go ahead and shoot into him and kill him off with my Pyromancy. Pyromancy, magic, I get 7 on the Flux. Go ahead and I kill him like I was expecting to. But basically, he did his job. He chaffed me. I don't think I passed my March check. I think I just walked this way like 4 inches. I did turn. So over here, close combat, he ends up fighting. I end up killing off a bunch of him this time. But... we stick there for another round of combat, and it's going to start off his turn 5, I think it was? Yeah, it's like Dread Elves turn 5. Dread Elves turn 5. Peg Lord is charging it to the flank of my Black Orcs. I'm like, okay, that's bound to happen, I understand. His Acolytes charge it to the rear. He's just trying to grind me down, and from me failing to see that flank with the Corsairs, there goes the objective, and I'm not going to get there anymore. I'm just not going to get there. Magic, he gets 7 on the Flux, gets off Crippling Fatigue. Even though I'm 5-dicing every time to try to stop it, he gets it off every time. He's 5-dicing to throw it. Magic, it gets a 5 on... Or, no, that was it. Close combat, he ends up wiping out my unit before I get a chance to swing. I had no chance to swing. And he has 1 turn to get to the objective, which he can. And I got 2 turns to try to stop him. So turn 5, Orcs and Goblins. Orcs and Goblins turn 5. Koopa, you fat fuck! I'm charging the Acolytes, man. And he's like, fuck, flee. So he flees. Which I was trying to do it as a roadblock. I was trying to charge into these Acolytes so I could stop the Corsairs from trying to get in, right? But these Acolytes run. So I go ahead and I roll the redirect. By the way, Lucas talked to me after this, and he said it was so risky for me to charge the Acolytes first. But I'm charging his General next. I was wondering his General's going to kill me, but his General only has 1 wound remaining, to be honest, okay? So I charged his General, and he thought about it, and he's like, fuck, I'm going to flee. It was too risky for him to keep his General there. So he flees with the General, he flees with the Acolytes. I march my fucking Goblins up as fast as I can, but there's a hill in my way of my line of sight. Magic, I get a 5 on the Flux. Go ahead and I try to do a couple wounds on this guy. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Alright. Turn 6. Dread Elves. Turn 6 Dread Elves. He fails his fucking rally on his General. He rolls double 6s. His General runs right off the fucking table. Holy shit, Koopa, you fucking son of a bitch. Right? Now, he's going to march his Corsairs all the way up to that fucking objective. Alright? As you can see, there's going to be Orcs and Goblins turn 6. Orcs and Goblins turn 6. I charge Koopa into the flank or those Corsairs. I have to fucking kill those Corsairs to get them off the fucking objective. I only need a 5 to get this charge. I only need a 5 to get this charge or for him to fail his terror check. He passes his terror check. I roll the 3 dice. It's a 1, 1, and a 2. Are you fucking kidding me, Koopa? You fat fuck! You fat bastard! What the fuck's wrong with you, Koopa? You could have saved the whole game. You could have. God damn it, Koopa! What's wrong with you? I marched Baxter and Bazooka all the way up to the tip of the fucking hill. Now, as you can see, the rest of the unit cannot get to the hill. That was the maximum amount of movement, and I could get on top of the hill to see those fucking Corsairs. I hit him with a fucking Scorching Salvo. I hit him with a fucking Fireball. I hit him with a 2d6 Fireball. I forgot which ones he stopped. I killed 3 Corsairs. He panicked, and he ran off the fucking objective. Woo! Holy shit, man! Oh, that was hard. Several times I had a 20-0. Several times in that game I should have just tabled him, and several times in that game he just came back with some crazy shit. Now, of course, I fucked up by giving up my Black Orc flank, but Jesus Christ, me feeling the steadfast on the Savages fucked me up. Savages probably could have killed his general, because general only had 1 wound remaining at the end there, and he already lost his Krakens. I think that, and then they could have took the objective. Savages running was a big issue. Yeah, it was Jesus Christ. That was probably the funnest game I played the whole tournament. Pascal is a great guy. Like I said, I've played him several times in Universal Battles. It's great to get a game against him in real life. He was a bit frustrated from the game because he realized how many things went my way or his way or whatever. He realized how many mistakes I made. He realized he's a really fucking good player, and he was frustrated. And I think he was frustrated with my Captain Titty, because Titty was like, he said it wasn't me specifically. It's the fact that Titty keeps on questioning things, and he would walk by and he'd be like, "All right, where's the objective? Where's this? Where's that?" And he's like, "Titty, just let James play the game. Just let James play the game." Which I get. But it wasn't really. I don't. Besides my team screaming out steadfast, I don't feel like anything was really crossing the line, to be honest. He just asked where the scenario was. Anyways, guys, that was it. This is a picture of my team. We had a great time. This was probably my funnest tournament, by far, the funnest tournament I've ever been to. And I'm talking about, there's tournaments in the U.S. that I frickin' won, first, second, or third place and had a great time. But this tournament, we played our hearts out. Let's go over the final report on how Team Mexico did against Belgium. All right. So, and also let's go over what I told you about Pascal telling me why he picked me. All right. So, number 1, Pascal told me that when he looked at the matrix for his team versus me, everybody had a red match. He was like, everybody was, all across, was a red match against you, James. And he goes, if I didn't take you, you were going to 20 somebody else. So he goes, so I had to take you. And he goes, and it could go either way. And I go, that's funny, because I felt the same way with you. I felt like half my team had a red match on Pascal, and if I didn't take him, he was going to 20 somebody on my team. So that was actually a really fun way to get to where we were at, right? And I thought that was awesome too, because that's the second game where I was a obstacle for that team. That's the second time. The first one was against Portugal. The second one was against this team. All right, so let's start off with Joseph. Joseph ended up getting a 10-10 against his guy. I want to say it was a high elf player. Go back. I want to say it was a high elf player, and his high elf player hid behind a corner, and Joseph hit on the other corner, and he was just like, it's going to be a tie. We could play it, and I think they did play it, but it was just played for fun after they shook on a tie. All right. Second off, Pablo played his ass off that game. Pablo fucking played his ass off. I looked at the table. Pablo was the last game going on this time. He was kicking the guy's ass. He had a lot more models on the table. He was doing everything right. The problem was the other guy got the objective, and Pablo got a 10-10 because of it. That sucks. Neil ended up playing his third Vermin Swarm player, and he got a 10-10. So right now we have Joseph's 10-10, Neil's 10-10, Pablo's 10-10. Alright? Euron lost huge against the guy he predicted he would have a 10-10 against, which is their Undying Dynasty. So they got a 19-1. Now Charlie made up for that by getting a 19-1. So right now we have a 10-10, 10-10, 10-10, 19-1, 1-19. So we're at a tie, right? Alan got a 9. Alright, so now we're losing by 1 point. Okay? Titty got a 10. Now, that 10 on Titty cost Titty his first place in ETC. He would have been the top player of all the ETC if he would have got a better score against my boy Herman there. All he needed was like a 14 or a 15. He would have been the first place player in ETC. So that shows you how good Titty is. But Herman Nico took him out and made sure he didn't get that first place. So, again, Titty 10, Joseph 10, Neil 10, Pablo 10, Euron and Charlie evened out with a 19-1 and a 1-19. We're at a tie. Alan lost 9-11. Alright, so we're down by 1 point. I beat Pascal 13-7. Our team wins 82-78 against Belgium. That's fucking insane, alright? That is fucking crazy. It was literally down to me and Pascal would have killed anybody else on my team. And I think that's an awesome show of my team, that most people tied or played really strong against their team, which is a top 10 team. And that shows the power of my team, that we have the potential to compete. Now we played Ukraine, Australia, and Belgium, which are all top 10 teams this year. We beat 2 of those 3, all right, and we still scored lower, or we still ended up lower on the totem pole. We ended up in 11th place before penalties. Now we got 5 penalties total. 4 of them were because of list submission issues with our Sylvan Elf player. So we lost 4 points like that. We lost 1 more point because there was a game where Euron was 1 minute late of turning the score in, like 10 seconds late, but it was still a minute late count. So we lost 5 points. So that 5-point penalty took us from 11th place down to 16th place. That's brutal. That is brutal. It would have been our highest standings from Team Mexico. Every year we kept going up and up and up and up, but this year that was brutal. How much a 5-point deduction hurt. Anyways, guys, so we ended up hanging out with our team one last time. This is the last dinner that we had with the guys, and it was kind of a sad dinner because it's one of those dinners that was just like, we played our asses off, we're all talking stories, but I don't know which one of these guys I'm going to see next year. You know what I mean? I don't know if the team's going to be complete next year, or if the team's going to be filled with different players next year. If I'm going to get I have applications coming from Mexico this year, and from players actually in Mexico, and I have other mercs asking to be in, and I don't know what's going to go on. I get a lot of questions. I got several applicants who are just kind of pushing the envelope on who you picking, and to be honest, I don't know. But I was enjoying this last dinner with the guys. I was like, I had a fun time with you guys. This was, like I said, the funnest tournament I've been to. And then we ended up going out that night for the last night out. This is Amanda meeting Furion and Hermenard. Well, she met Hermenard several times during the tournament, and they were long story short, she started Hermenard on fire, like actually on fire. He was letting her play with these 2 little like flints or whatever they're called, and trying to teach her how to make a fire, and she started him on fire. But Hermenard, being Hermenard, just kind of put it out and was kind of just laughing about it. Anyways, but yeah, this is the picture of the night. If you guys listen to the Hammer Time podcast, they were talking about how this was like the bar street where everybody's hanging out, and then after this they went to a heavy metal bar later in the evening. By that time I was done though. Anyways, guys, I'm going to go over a couple pictures here, and then we're going to go over my team in general. Let's go over my units first, and then we'll go over my team. All right. Let me find the right page. All right, so my units in 9th place. Oh, in 10th place is always the dogs. They don't really do shit. They kill one thing every so often. In 9th place goes to the Spear Chuckers. Spear Chuckers actually didn't do much. They did a lot more in ESC. ESC, they were killing shit. In ETC, they only pulled in about 580 points, which is kind of meh. I think a lot of the points were negated from the fact that I didn't take pictures of what killed them. In 8th place went to the squad, and you know what? 1,200 points from the squad is fucking beautiful, beautiful. I can't ask for a better unit that's 180 points. 7th place, they started off really strong, but they finished really weak, which was the K-Pack. And like Pascal said, if I would have charged the Kraken with the K-Pack instead, he thinks I would have had a higher chance of killing the Kraken, or at least making the Kraken run. Even though he does the D3 wounds and all that, then my Black Orcs would fight the Kraken, and then my general would kill the Kraken. And I agree with him 100%. I think I played that wrong. 6th place went to the Squigs. Squigs, they did not impress me much, to be honest. 1,800 points. They died pretty fast. That last blow up was pretty nasty. And in reality, they pulled in a lot of points in that last combat with the Krakens, the double Krakens. But that's about it. 5th place actually went to the Foot Clan. Foot Clan, there was like 3 games they just kind of ran in circles and did nothing. So even then, they still ended up pulling on 2,400 points, which is pretty nice. Bazooka's Commandos took in another 2,400 points, which is actually pretty impressive out of a fucking Goblin unit. And like I said, that one game against the one in the picture against that fucking Gortak just made my fucking weekend. That's hilarious. 3rd place went to Koopa, which is actually a big upset. Koopa could have been the tournament MVP, but Koopa only pulled in 3,700 points. And then that last round, he could have teared those guys off the fucking and been the big hero that he is, but he failed. He fucking failed. He got most of his points off of Ericsson's game, which was pretty dominant for Koopa that game. And then he pulled in a lot of points against Tim from Norway. And this game he did okay. Torket's game he did okay. 2nd place goes to Dread's Iron Legion, and when you put your general in a unit, that unit becomes a big target. So basically, they pulled in 3,800 points, almost 4,000 points, which is roughly around the same that they did at ESC. ESC, they pulled in 400 more points, but they also played one more game. But the big number 1 tournament MVP went to Baxter the Pyromaniac. Baxter the fucking Pyromaniac is a pyromaniac. He is a bastard. He pulled in 5,472 points. I actually painted a new model for Baxter. I'll take a better picture of it in a future video so you guys can see him. But basically, I took the new Goblin King model that has like the 2 squigs carrying the robe, and that's been Baxter this whole tournament. And Baxter just deserved it, taking the most points. All right. Going over my team's performance, I'll go from the least amount of points to the top. Joseph, I believe, was the lowest. Yeah, Joseph. Oh, I didn't finish putting them in. That's why. I was wondering what was going on here. All right, Mexico. I think it's crazy that last game, though, everything was like a 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. All right, so Mexico, Euron got 1 point. I knew that. Charlie got 19 points. Neil got 10 points. Alan got 9. Pablo got 10, and Joseph got 10. All right, so Joseph took the lower man on the totem pole. He only pulled in 26 points. Like I said, I try to get him matches that would suit his army better. I think he's just a high amount of rust on that player. And in previous years, he was a good middle performer. He would actually get 20s often, but he would also get 0s often last year and the year before. So it's rough. I think he just needs practice, and I think that's what it's going to come down to. Next up actually is Alan. Alan got 42 points. But Alan, I actually am really proud of Alan because anytime he took a rough match, he still pulled in points. He never came back with a 0, and that's huge. That is really huge. Pablo ended up taking the next spot, which is 47 points. And, not bad, actually, for his first ETC performance. you know, and I think that's actually pretty impressive. Next up would be Neil. Neil took 51 points. Neil did take 3 rat players, or 2. I think it was 2 rat players. Might have been 3, but Neil did really well. Neil does solid always. Charlie did 65, and in all fairness, if it wasn't for that day 1, Charlie would be probably in the top 10. But that day 1, he just took 2 big losses from a good player. Euron with the biggest upset, I think, out of everybody. He took 72 points, which is just fucking impressive. He took 3 Undying Dynasty players, and even though he took 3 Undying Dynasty players, which he put down as yellow matches or green matches, he still ended up with 72 points. I think if he would have got other players besides those Undying Dynasties, he probably would have been in the top 10 easily. Myself, I ended up with 87 points, and that ended up putting me, I think I took a picture of it too. Let's see. I did take pictures of it. Alright, sorry. I gotta find the pictures though. Come on. Move the camera. Euron ended up in 70th place overall out of almost 300 players. And he was pretty good with a Vermin Swarm army with no BSB. It was a little risky with no BSB, but I think the risk and the reward did decent. And then my Charlie, he ended up in 109th place. Like I said, if he didn't get those 2 losses in the beginning, it would have been a different story. Myself, I'm in 24th place, but technically tied for 22nd place. And I this game, I think there was every game I could have pulled in more points than I did, and I still am proud of what I did. I was the 2nd highest Orc and Goblin player. 2nd highest Orc and Goblin player. I lost it by 2 points, and really, even though I messed this game up a little bit, I really blame that Beast game for giving me the 10-10 when I should have gotten a lot higher. And then number 1 on my team is Captain Titty. Captain Titty ended up just dominating and getting 105 points, or no, not 105 points, excuse me, 102 points, couple points shy of that right on top, getting right on top. That's heartbreaking. But Titty did a great job. I'm really proud of these guys. Here's a couple pictures of us from previous years. The MVP of my team, even though you guys would say it would be Titty, honestly, and I think Titty could agree on this, is our coach Lucas. Lucas was the fucking man. Oh my God, Lucas. God, I cannot ask for a better coach. He was playing 8 games at once, and he was just on top of all of us. He was giving us strategies and scenarios and understandings of the game, and I really want to. My problem is just basically trying to find up the Merc spots, but I really want to give him a Merc spot for next year. He has played previously in our team the 2 years before. This year he couldn't guarantee he would play, so that's why he ended up being our coach this year. But we had a great time, guys. It was a great time overall. Here's a final shot picture here of our team. This is after the award ceremony. We're all leaving the award ceremony, and I just thought we looked like the Warriors walking away with our freaking our logos on the back of the shirts, and Euron with his cowboy hat. But guys, I can't ask for a better tournament. This was just so much fun, and I loved every moment of it. And I can't wait to do it again next year, you know. Besides that, guys, hope you guys enjoy this video. I enjoy making it. If you guys do like my videos, hit like, share, and subscribe. If you would like to show further support, you could always go to my Patreon. Any donation is awesome. $1 a month goes a long way for me. But at the same time, if you guys want to just do a one-time donation, I leave my PayPal link down below. I just got a donation from, I want to say his name was Ryan, and I really appreciate it. That actually does help me out. I'm straight up putting that money in savings for a camera, so that way I can stop using my phone for my camera. But besides that, guys, I got to give out a special thanks to all my teammates that took pictures of ETC, because I used a lot of their pictures to show for these battle reports. I got to give a special thanks to the Lens Viking, because a lot of these pictures were his. For you guys that don't know, his name is Kent. Kent is one of the main guys who actually created the 9th Age. So I got to give him a special shout out just for the game existing because of him. but at the same token, for him taking all these great pictures for this battle report, these ETC battle reports, because there's just a ton of great photos. I looked through his photos several times while I was doing the battle reports, trying to get the best pictures for the best feel for this event. And so MVP for this game was definitely Baxter. MVP for the tournament was Baxter. Like, share, subscribe, Patreon, guys. I won't be making a video for a while because I don't got Mountain Mayhem for like another 2 weeks, unless I get some games on the weekend. See you in a while. Take care and peace.